BC here. Hi guys and gals. Well, it's Sunday, and I hope you're all well. This week I can say I've gone to church. Last week I played hooky because we had gone out the day before. No, not the case this time. So it was a good service. I went to the German-speaking service, and it was quite amusing because, well, I like going there actually. For one thing, there's a pastor there. He's bilingual, so German-speaking, French-speaking, and we get along very well with their family. And whenever I see it's him, if I can fit it in, I like to go and listen to him talk. He's very down to earth, and I mean, it's not that I don't like it when they aren't spiritual. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, you know. But I won't be talking about his sermon. I'll be talking about a few other things. But one thing I did notice while I was there, and it was quite interesting. I thought, like, if I want to be the youngest in a crowd, not counting the church employees, meaning the pastors and the deacons or whatever that were hanging around there, or the organists, but taking into account everybody else except them, I was the youngest there. Okay, admittedly there was not a great crowd, and it was at 9 o'clock in the morning, so there weren't anybody there with their families, but it is kind of a rare occasion when all of a sudden I'm the youngest one in a crowd. I don't get that very often anymore. Actually, not too long ago was it Christmas, a Christmas party. If I took out the CEO and two other people that were absent, I was the second oldest in the crowd. And I thought, like, well, you know, that's going to be more and more the case. And people in church today, as you could imagine, were probably mostly in their mid-70s, something like that. And so being in my early, I like to put it that way still, early 60s, but frankly I don't really care about age that much. But I was the I was the youngest. Yeah. So I was going to chat about today, not approximately about age, because, you know, age is something that all of us know. Our bodies definitely tell us we're getting older. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But our heads, luckily, if we train them, can stay as young or get as old as we want. You know, and it's actually a nice part of aging, I find, is looking back and actually thinking at one point, I don't think I want to be a teenager again, or what age would I rather be? Things like that, and you start thinking about that. And yeah, it's a nice thing. I think that, I mean, that's part of having an imagination as well. I think if you're a person that tends to have a good imagination, and I believe I do, you can bring in situations, you know, where you in your head, you know, where you can bring it back and think like, okay, I'm there again, and age is just something that, you know, doesn't count anymore. Okay, I got an article. You know, every now and then I pull out these articles, and the article I'll show you in a second. It's I get a daily newsletter called Science Daily. It's really a lot of fun, actually. It's got articles or abstracts of articles of all types of things in life, because, you know, science goes into a lot of things that all of us like. I mean, it can go into anything from spirituality to geology, you know, going through aging and nutrition and health and so on. So the article, I won't go into the actual article since it would be very, very long to go and read it, but it was in a journal called Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin. But here, I'll just put it like that. And so, you know, the article itself was Strategic Storytelling When Narratives Help versus Hurt, Persuasive Power of Facts. Now, I mean, if you'd just seen that article, maybe you wouldn't have bothered to read it. So that's why, actually, these things are really quite interesting, because they were talking about great stories undermine strong facts. And it basically, I'll just read the summary, and then we can chat a little bit. If someone is trying to persuade or influence others, should they use a story or stick to the facts? According to research from social psychologists, stories can increase the persuasiveness of weak facts, but actually decrease the persuasiveness of strong facts. So I'm going to stop there, but I mean, it's kind of like talks about the fact, we say, knitting a long yarn. If you don't have great facts, make a good story, and that way you can actually and eventually persuade others. Have you ever seen when it's debates, and I'm not talking about the latest political debates in America, just generally if you see a debate on television or something, you will usually have the strong intellectual one who has all the facts but doesn't know how to present them. And you often have a person who might be just as good in what he's doing but has maybe less facts, but is a great storyteller, brings out the emotions and everything. Sometimes it's the other way around, but anyway, for the case of this discussion, and this person usually tends to bring along and I would say convince the audience of what he or she is saying because they are good storytellers. Now, I was talking before about storytellers. Everybody likes a good story, and you will tend to emphasize maybe weak facts. Okay, on this thing. Now, if you just try and make a story and with all the great facts, you're bringing in too many details into the story, and people maybe get bored, don't process it, and so on. They were saying if you want to have strong facts, basically present the facts. So I don't know if that would mean, pull out a table, show a table or something like that. Show the facts, and don't spend all your time embellishing it, and the facts will speak for themselves. I guess that's basically, in a nutshell, what they were saying, and it is actually quite interesting, because if you look into the worldwide situation, politicians, the cerebral ones, try and bring you the facts, usually don't pass off so well. I mean, the people that will speak to your heart or speak to your emotions usually will come across as more for you. It's actually quite an interesting fact. Now, that is one of the things that have often created a conservative and less conservative divide. Now, I'm trying to be careful because there's just so much. These words, a lot of words, you can't use them anymore because people will automatically think of something else. But very often, when you're in a less conservative, you think about yourself when you were teenagers, your emotions, your hormones, or whatever are speaking, And if you're more conservative, you will kind of think things out. You can overthink things, and you can lose spontaneity. But I think you see where I'm getting at, is that the person who tries and think things out, usually his message doesn't get across because people don't have the attention span for that very often. That was actually an interesting article that I read as well about attention spans. And I'm going into another little chat because it's all part of today's world. What is not written here is that we have, and that'll be for another vlog, is we have now become accustomed over the years of working with screens. And screens like be it television screens, be it but mostly computer screens and tablet screens, and our way of processing information has changed a lot from when we used to have the written word in a book and so on. But I really think I'll keep that for another vlog because it's actually a very interesting one. There's been studies even on people, for example, Christians, how will they approach scripture, the Bible, if they're using a Kindle version, like I do myself very often, and the good old paper version. If you're reading a book, like I read most of my books on the Kindle, and Mrs. DC reads them with a book, how we process the information. But that will be for another vlog. Okay, so, just chatting along. It's a Sunday. Mrs. DC is working. She's taking care of real world problems. not like mine, the shortage of peanut butter or stuff like that. She's taking care of real world problems with elderly, and she's away. She'll be home later on, and I'll be firing up the barbecue. I think we'll make some burgers or something like that, and spend some time together when she gets back. But by then, the weekend will be almost over. So I really hope that you all have a great day. Today's, like I said, was Sunday. It's a day to relax. That's what I'm going to be doing today. There is no geocaching today. I don't have the car, and there are no geocaches close. And I just all of a sudden today feel like, spending some time home and doing a few things that I need to do here. So, is that all? Yes, it is. I'll be DC signing off. Take care, everybody. And like I said, have a great Sunday.